Good morning, good afternoon, or wherever you're joining me from. Welcome back to Too Ambitious. I am so happy that you all are here today. If this is your first time joining me, this is a show that celebrates Black women and women of color founders who are changing the game. They're disruptors, they are innovators. And of course, as you probably would have guessed, they're very, very ambitious. So make sure that you are lighting up the chat. Let me know where you're joining me from. I love to hear from you. And today, as you probably guessed, I have an amazing, extraordinarily phenomenal woman on the show today. Let me tell you all about her because you're just going to be blown away. So, joining me today is Anggie Salazar. She is the partner and VP of the marketing agency CROING, a woman-founded, women-led creative agency where Anggie specializes in strategic marketing and business development. Now, Anggie is also the phenomenal founder of Women Who Network Initiative. Now, Anggie is also an advocate for diversity and women's empowerment. She's created Women Who Network to inspire women to build connections and share their success stories. She even wrote a book called The Guide to Building Meaningful Connections. So, as you probably already guessed, she's quite extraordinary. So, I want you all to show her some love, give her some good energy, let her know how much we love her, and we are ready for this conversation. So let's welcome Anggie Salazar. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for that introduction, Trish.
Of
So happy to
course.
be here.
Yes, I'm so happy that you're here today. Um, we're going to be talking all about networking and building meaningful connections. And you and I, guess what? We met on LinkedIn.
Yes, that's
as
right.
most great relationships do. So Anggie, I'm just going to start off, let's set the stage a little bit because you are a woman of many, many talents, you know. So in your own words, set the stage, tell us a little bit about who you are and the work that you do.
Perfect. So I'm Angie Salazar, as Trish said. I'm a marketer, I'm a networker, I'm a mom and an entrepreneur. I love marketing, I love communication, and I love networking and building connections. So I also have a background in engineering. So I started working as an engineer, and then life happened and I pivoted to marketing. I've always loved communication, even as an engineer. When I was working with my crew, I love explaining things to them. And I love being able to identifying really what I loved in order to move forward in my
Yes,
life. And it
yes.
wasn't about a career or a company specifically. It was about the value that I bring to the table and who I really am. So that knowledge, that self knowledge, has guided me through my career, and it's been an amazing experience. I love advocating for women
Yes,
entrepreneurs. That's
yes.
why also I created Women Who Network, and within CROING, we're women funded and women led. So it goes together beautifully.
Yes.
And I really love what I do. And I also am pretty passionate and pretty ambitious as well. So once I
Hey.
saw the title of this initiative, I was like, yes, please sign me up, because a lot of women are hesitant or shy to say that they're ambitious. And I think that acknowledging ourselves and really understanding who we are is a crucial step to being able to get your goals and reach for all of your goals. So I love that.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And yes, you're absolutely right. Sometimes, people make it seem like ambition is a bad word,
Mm,
and especially for women, you
yes.
know, why can't we, go for the gold, win all the things, be all the things, without.
Unapologetically too.
Exactly. It's definitely a double standard
Mm,
in society, but I'm glad that, obviously you have broken through that and you're like, yeah, whatever, I'm still going to be great. So thank you. Thank you for that. Now, I want to know who inspired this love for networking? Like, who or what inspired this for you? I know some people, it's family, it's friends, that sort of thing. But
Mm.
what was it for you? Because sometimes you don't realize who is sort of kind of shaping your future,
Yeah.
as you're coming up as a little one.
So for me, like my mom and dad, we are three sisters.
Ah,
So we've always been told that we can accomplish whatever we wanted to. And when I started looking for my first job, I wanted to work in this huge company back in Venezuela, and it was an engineering job. So I was like, what should I like? What can I do to work in this huge monster company that is
yeah,
so bigger than me? I thought at the beginning,
right.
and then I started networking with people like organically. I started
Right.
saying like, where can I find these people that are in these companies? And I thought of LinkedIn. And then I started to write to them, but I didn't like it wasn't on my perspective that those people were unreachable. So my
Ah,
first talk that I gave to my audience for LinkedIn when I started being a speaker was called on LinkedIn nobody is unreachable. And it was because I realized that I didn't even realize it. I felt it from the beginning. And then when I got from my sister, because I work with her at the agency, like, but how will you get in touch with these huge brands
yeah,
back 8 years back, 8 years ago, if we're a small company? And I say through LinkedIn. And that was the point when I realized like not everyone sees it like I see it.
yes,
But yes, it all started for my first job as an engineer. I actively reached out to people within the company that I wanted to get hired in, and they answered and they gave me great advice, and I got the job. And then I thanked them, and when I left the job, I also thanked them again. So it's all around. It has been all around my understanding that I can get
right.
whatever goal I set my mind to. And
Mhm.
I don't really see the obstacles. I see the ways that I can get there. So
Yeah,
I need to do this and this. Okay, I'll do it. Obviously, if something, because when you network, not everyone has your same vibe, or not everyone is ready to take the step,
yeah,
but you're exercising your right to get what you want, and
exactly.
something is gonna come along and you're gonna make it through. And I think it's really important to understand that it can be done. And
Yes,
us at the agency and also at the initiative, our job is also to show others that it can be done.
yeah,
And that's our purpose and our why as well. And that was my one of my first networking experience, but
yeah,
the one that really was pivotal and really changed me
yeah.
was when we decided to move from Venezuela to Argentina, and it was my first move. I then moved to the US, but for Argentina we went with the whole family, like mom, dad, little
Yeah,
sister, grandma, like everyone.
yeah,
And obviously, my mom and dad had always been entrepreneurs, but in this new country, we didn't have a network.
right.
So I needed to create a network for my family, and I used different marketing strategies that I learned along the way to do it. And remember, I came from the engineering world, not the
Yeah,
marketing world. But
yeah,
once I got my mom and dad's business together, and we got these amazing Instagram pages that generated a lot of business for us, my
nice.
sister that had founded the agency told me like, you're already working in marketing, why don't you come and work with me and let's build this together? And I said, obviously yes. So that
Oh,
experience of, because I think it's important to know that it's not only to find a new job, it's
right.
also to build
To build
your
the relationships.
businesses, to build
Right.
your own stuff, and to move forward without the need of a company backing you.
Mhm.
But you are, your own personal brand, your own business. And I think those two experiences, although they're different,
Yeah.
they're, I want them to inspire more people to go for either one of them.
Yeah, and Angie, that is such an extraordinary story, to realize your goals in a way that is all about building these connections and building your network. You did it for yourself, being an engineer, and then, you did it for your family, and, now you pivoted to marketing. All
Yeah.
through the power of connections and
Yes.
networking, and very, very inspiring, especially for anyone out there who's watching, to know what's possible. You also created the Women Who Network initiative, and you and I, we share this love of networking. So, describe, why you wanted to create this initiative for women. Because I mean, I think I already know the answer, but you tell me.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, for me, it was about putting together everything I love. So I'm saying like women who network is like my ikigai. It's what I can do, what serves others, what I love doing, because I love marketing, I love networking, but I wanted to bring to the table something that could help more women understand the importance of networking.
Yep.
And it started because I was giving a session for Latinas in Tech, their summit last year, and
Oh.
it was about networking and personal branding. And at the end of the session, the questions were like, but how do I approach someone that I don't know and tell them
Mhm.
about my goals if I don't know them, they're a stranger? So once again, I realized that other people don't necessarily think about their goals or what they need to do to get them. They don't think as I do.
Right.
So then I thought, what would have happened to me if I would have had that specific uh, fear, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
I said, it's necessary for someone to do this, share stories of people that have gone already through a networking journey and are successful or in a great job position
Yeah.
or, aspirational,
Right.
and tell more women how they got there so that
Yep.
more women could understand the power of networking and also that they can do it too. And our first question in the podcast is like, how has your perspective changed from when you started networking to now?
Mhm.
Because a lot of answers are like, I was an introvert, I didn't know how to speak to people when I got to an event or even at work. And it goes to show that you are not necessarily born with that talent to network, but you
Right.
can build on it when you understand that it's really an amazing tool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create it because I wanted to inspire. I wanted also, to be honest, to meet more women that wanted
Mhm.
to be part of this movement,
Yes.
because it's easier for me to know that you have my same vibe if you want to help the same people I want to help. So
Right.
it's like it makes a shorter, uh, um, it's a great for building a relationship with you if I already know your values. And
Yeah.
as I was telling you, it's like everything clicked. And I was like, yes, this is perfect for me. And I really, really love it. And I have the best time doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you are having a lot of fun while supporting others and them supporting you, It's a great initiative, and I think that when we think about networking, and sometimes a lot of times people may think, like, "Oh, what is it that I'm getting out of it?" But it can't be that all the time, right? You have to sort of, not only bring something to the table, but it's about building something that's meaningful. It's about connecting with people, shared values, shared goals, and then seeing where it goes, because not all relationships, as you know, start off, at a 10, it takes time,
Totally,
takes time,
totally.
you know?
And I also think, to your point, like, what are you getting from it? Do you even know what you want to get? Because sometimes we get into this networking relationship, but we don't have our value clear, we don't have our goals clear. So if you go there expecting someone else to understand you deeper than you understand yourself and offer you whatever you think you might want,
Yeah,
it's like crazy. And also, when you talk about value, you can bring something as well. It's not like
Absolutely.
everyone else is going to bring stuff to you,
Right.
but to understand that you can do that, you need to know that you are valuable, that not because someone else has more experience than you or is in a huge company, they're more than you, or they don't need anything from you, because everyone has different things to offer. So I think
Yes.
it's really important to understand your value and what you really want
Yeah.
before wanting everyone else to go and offer you things. And
Yes, yes, a very good point, and thank you for pointing that out. It's you have to know yourself first, you
mm,
know. And another great thing that you've done is also write a book about it, called "The Guide to Building Meaningful Connections." So, this book, tell us what we can find in this book. Are you giving like tips and resources?
yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
this book is designed for people that either want to start networking or want to get better at it.
Okay.
And it's telling people like my secret, so to speak, that I always talk about on my initiative.
Yeah.
But for example, follow up is really important. So there's a whole chapter about it. And sometimes people think that networking is going to this event and talking to these people to never see them again. And that's not like the point. The point is
Right.
that when you find people that is aligned with your vibe, and you already understand yourself and you understand what their goals are and what
Right.
they want
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
you can help them, they can help you, and you can follow up, and an opportunity will come. So
Yes.
there's a chapter on follow up, there's a chapter on online networking that has definitely built my company and
Mm.
my initiative as well, because I've interviewed people from all over the US and also Latin America. So
Yeah.
it's not it's completely through LinkedIn networking, Instagram networking, and so forth. So
Right.
online networking. So there are a few things that we don't specifically understand about them, about networking, and it's a follow up and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it has specific activities that you can do to keep building your network and starting or getting better. And something that's really, for me, it's really funny, because when I started, as I said, I did it for women that were starting to network. But
Right.
then I realized that I was learning a lot from my guests. They
Yeah.
were learning from me as well. And more women that were already doing the thing, going to events and building their network,
Yeah.
were actually learning more and more from the initiative. So
Mm.
it's not only for people that are starting, but also that want to get better. And I think as
Right.
professionals, as entrepreneurs, we always want to improve.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely something that, yes, the book, I'd love being part of the growth of the initiative, because at the
Yeah.
beginning it was the LinkedIn newsletter, then it was a podcast on Spotify, then it grew to a YouTube channel. So, and now the book. So
Yeah.
it has been really, really cool. And there are quotes after every activity from our guests. So
Mhm.
yes, and I plan that the second book is for a compilation of the interviews. So yes, we're
Ah,
trying to grow
super
even.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, super smart. Alana Brown is saying, so interested in women who network. Is it a podcast with tips, strategies for networking?
Yeah,
Yeah, you just touched on that a little bit. But yeah, feel free to emphasize.
totally. So it started as an interview. So I interview women from different companies, job positions, and that have gone through a networking journey. And I have a LinkedIn newsletter. We have a LinkedIn newsletter, a podcast on Spotify. We also have a book, and we're gonna have our first event in New York in July.
Ooh,
So yes, it's all around women networking, because I don't know if you knew, but there's a LinkedIn study that says that women are 30% less likely to
mhm.
form a network consciously than men.
Yep.
So for us, it's really important to inspire women to want to network, to get into this safe space, to
Yeah.
also know that our guests are willing to talk to you if you write them a DM on LinkedIn. And we're practically filtering your first network, so to speak,
Yeah, you
because it's
are.
not easy.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to be present in
No.
with
Yeah.
someone that they don't know. Not everyone is built for that,
Yeah.
but yes, we're doing the
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, I love it, and I think that, a couple of people, who are watching right now definitely wanna learn more about the book. I love that your book has exercises built in
Yay.
to provide action items. Thank you for that, Adolfo Cole. Yeah, that's really great because sometimes, you hear all these things and you're like, "But how do I actually do it?" You know?
Yes.
So that's great that you do that. And so where can they get the book, you know?
Yes, definitely. So the book is exclusive to our community. So you can definitely reach out to me via LinkedIn or via Angie, Anggie, at CROING.com, and I can let you know how to get it. There's also a page after each chapter for your notes, and I thought that was really important because I wanted to be also interactive. Like, what are you feeling after doing this activity? Do you
Right.
feel like you're getting better? So yes, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, for
That
sure, Thank you for that question, Adolpha,
yes,
super
thank you very much.
helpful, and if you are watching right now, you can follow Women Who Network Initiative on LinkedIn. You can find it if you just put in a search, or if you're
Yes,
following Angie, follow Angie on LinkedIn, and it will lead you as well to her page so you can learn more about the Women Who Network Initiative and maybe see how you can be a part of it. Now, Angie, you've mentioned Croning, and you are doing some incredible things, Angie. I'm not even sure when you rest, but you're a partner and VP of marketing at Croning, which is a creative agency that works with brands to reach audiences in a meaningful way. How did you become a partner of this company?
So yes, I started at Crying in new business. As I told you before, when I started the company, we were five. Now we're almost 50.
My God.
So yeah, so when I started, I didn't have, well, I started the company because my sister founded it, and I was doing marketing for my family to build
Right.
a network
Yep.
and build our businesses. So when my sister invited me, obviously I didn't have like a specific job position. So what I really wanted to do was to understand her goals and
Yeah.
to get up there.
Yeah.
And then I developed my own vision for the company. So when her goals were to go from working for entrepreneurs to working for big companies. But she said she used to tell me like, but I don't know if that's something that can be done because we're so small and stuff.
Right.
And I said like, no, it definitely can be done because I used to work for this big company, and they told us the story of how the company was born. So everything has a beginning, and that's
Everything.
something that sometimes when you hear Google, when you hear Apple, we think that it all started from where it is right now, and it's
Right.
not true.
Right.
So sometimes you need to be willing to work out of your garage, or different stuff that most tech companies tell you that they started from. And
Exactly.
when I started understanding the goals, the first thing that we did and that I proposed at the beginning was we need to be on LinkedIn because, according to my marketing studies now, we
Yep.
need to be where our target is. And our
Yeah.
target is on LinkedIn because we're looking for the CMOs, brand managers. But 8 years ago, LinkedIn was a place where ideas went to die.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
like like everyone was looking for a job or offering a job, but it was not about being creative.
Yeah.
But we did it. We reached out to people, and the first client we closed were Electrolux and Novartis in Chile, because Chile was our first market, being
Yeah.
in Argentina.
Right.
And then i went to I came to the US and registered the company, and like 2 months later, we closed the city of Miami as a client.
That's
So
amazing.
yes, so my sister started like she moved to LA and I came to Miami and now she lives in New York. So it has been a story of, you know,
Yeah.
the Lulu mindset.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to call
You
it
have
that.
to. You have to,
Yes,
right?
definitely. And
Yeah.
understanding that if you have a goal, you need to have a path to go through to get to that goal.
Yeah.
And when you are building your company, you need to believe that you can make it to the next level and the
Yeah.
next and the next, because we already surpassed different levels that
Yeah.
we've set on mind to surpass, and
Yeah.
it has been an amazing experience. So when I aligned to those goals and I was able to prove that it could be done the first time, I
Right.
became a partner,
Right.
because I think everyone saw in me that I believed in the company and that I would take, obviously with the whole team, no, but
Yeah.
that I would take it to the next and the next and the next level. So yes, and
Yeah.
I love that you're there because we love creating content not only about our campaigns but our point of view,
Yeah.
and we love that section of the website. So thank you so much for showing the website.
Yeah, the website is fire,
Oh,
and I love that you're working with so many incredible international brands.
yes.
Your work just transcends, and I can feel the energy from the website and, and all the work that you're doing. So, listen, kudos to you and your sister for what you've built. And what you continue to build, especially that we know in advertising and creative industries, women owned agencies make up less than 0.1%.
Yes.
So, and you all are working to change that. So that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. And for us, as we said on our latest campaign, being part of the 0.1% of creative agencies founded by women,
Mhm.
it's not a badge of honor for us. It's a call to action. So,
Right.
what we want to do is represent that it can be done, that we can be successful, and that we can achieve what we are set to, fulfill and our goals and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that our message comes across and that you can also understand that you can do it. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you're a marketer, you're one of the best in the business. What is the number one thing that brands should be doing right now in order to reach their audiences, in your professional opinion?
amazing. I think no matter your target, no matter the demographic that you want to get to, or your next campaign,
Yeah.
you need to be authentic.
Mm,
There
yes.
is a phenomenon going on right now about there is a shift on how we used to perceive brands, celebrities,
Yeah.
things that we thought that were bigger than us.
Right.
Right now, thanks to social media, that you can see them like almost every day, and that you can actually interact with
Yeah.
C-suite levels of brands. You don't think now that they are so far away from you. Now you're
Mhm.
at the same level. So when you're
Yep.
at the same level, you start asking for more. So our audiences are asking for us not to only do a campaign about sustainability, but be sustainable. Not do a campaign of about diversity, but do you have a diverse team within the company?
Exactly.
And to not do an specific activation about it, but to have a long term game, a
Exactly.
purpose, values, and everything that the brand should be, and not only a marketing move. So I think
Mhm.
authenticity, being genuine, understanding how to move as a creator, not only a brand, be
Right.
flexible and deeply know your audience. I think that's the fears, the goals, the desires that your audience have,
Yeah.
and how they think about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing right now, because people are looking for so much more from brands that they used to. So yeah,
Yeah, that's great advice, and you're absolutely right. There has to be that alignment between your brand and your values, like how you show up. You can't show one thing in public and be another thing behind the scenes.
exactly.
Which we know a lot of companies are falling
Yeah,
into that trap as of
got
late.
it.
We won't say any names, but I really love what you said there, and I think also too we know that the creator economy is
Yeah,
250 billion
got it.
industry. So we have to, these brands have to lean into that to create something that's meaningful long term,
Yeah,
long term.
got it.
So, yeah, so thank you so much for that, Angie. My last question to you is, and I already know the answer, but I just want to let you know, is do you consider yourself ambitious?
Absolutely, 100%, but not in the
Yes.
traditional sense, because I think my
Yeah.
ambition isn't just about climbing ladders, but about building the rooms. I want to open doors
Yes.
for others while creating my own version of success, and one that's rooted in impact, creativity, and community. So I think that
Yes.
my ambition is about everyone understanding that it can definitely be done.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much, Angie, for being on the show today. I appreciate all your wisdom. Go join the Women Who Network initiative on LinkedIn. I'm going to do the same because I want to learn more from you because you are absolutely extraordinary, and I love your point of view on making meaningful connections, especially coming from a marketer like yourself. Super important. So thank you for taking the time to be with us
Thank you
today.
so much, Trish, and to all your community. Congrats on being ambitious, and let's get things
Yeah.
done.
Yes, let's get things done. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the show this week. I'll be back next week with another incredible woman, founder, and enjoy the rest of your week and keep being very ambitious. All right, everyone. Bye.